If you search Pokemon cards on YouTube right now, chances are you'll get spammed with graphs of cards going up or down. You got Twitter and Reddit posts, people talking about market buyouts and manipulation, and you got booster boxes that are getting shrouded in the fires of hellflame. It's honestly insane, but at the same time, I know you guys aren't stupid. So can we talk for a real quick second about how insane Pokemon card investing YouTube has gotten in the last 6 to 12 months? The whole thing kind of kicked off for me with the reprinted Japanese 151. So this is last year's set, super popular, whether it's the English version or the Japanese version. Arguably the Japanese version's a little bit more popular because it's a bit more exclusive. There's not much of it out there. But this was a content goldmine for people, talking about how it was the next big thing, how you had to invest in it, and if you didn't, you weren't going to make it. Even if you take a step back and you look at other sets like Evolving Skies, it's a content goldmine. You ever run out of ideas, you can rely on Evolving Skies to just bail you out. Whether you're talking about the price of a card going up or down $5, or you finding loose packs at Costco, Evolving Skies has always got your back. And then you got Temporal Forces. This set came out, I think, about a month ago. I don't know if you guys saw what happened with Iron Crown Special Illustration Rare. Really nice card, but in the span of about 2 days, the price just went completely bonkers. And the Ghastly Illustration Rare, another beautiful card. A YouTuber named Dharma Collectibles, hilarious what this guy did. He bought as many as he possibly could in English or Japanese, just because he liked them. Then he made a couple of Instagram stories talking about how he was pumping it. And then lo and behold, within a day, the price quadrupled. It was actually insane. Probably one of the smartest things I've seen a Pokemon card YouTuber do in the last year. So I commend the blow. And then you got a set that comes out in a month. This one hasn't even come out yet. Twilight Masquerade. Set hasn't even hit the shelves yet. And you already got people talking about whether it's going to be a good investment or a bad investment. My brother, let the thing come out before you start talking about whether it's going to make you a whole lot of money or not. Now, Pokemon card investing channels, they're nothing new. They've been around for about 4 or 5 years. Since the 2020 boom happened, everybody got really interested again. In my mind, there's 2 kinds of channels that are doing this right now. You got the hobbyist, somebody who likes collecting cards, and then you got the business channel. Now, hobbyists, like I said, they like collecting cards. Their hobby is investing in them. And whether you think that's silly or smart, I don't really care. Everyone's got to have a hobby. But they make a couple of videos talking about how they like investing in Pokemon cards or what they think is going to be a good investment in a few years. And then it gains a little bit of traction because there's always people looking for someone to tell them how to make money. It's probably one of the most popular niches or categories on YouTube, investing, how to make money. Go and look at the cryptocurrency side of YouTube. You'll see this, and you've probably seen this before, where when it's booming, it's super popular. You're seeing a whole bunch of videos in your feed. That's because you're getting literally spammed. Super popular, people looking for a way to make a quick buck. And the cryptocurrency YouTubers do the same thing. Every day, they're just making a video talking about an altcoin. Whether they think the altcoin is a good investment or not, it doesn't matter. They're just going to talk about it for 10 minutes, get people on board, right? Pokemon card hobbyists, investors, in my mind, doing the exact same thing. I don't think they actually believe what they're talking about because the whole thing is so random. It's literally impossible to make a prediction or a parallel when you're investing in Pokemon cards because the company that makes them at any point in time can then just decide to reprint and blow the whole thing out. When you buy shares or cryptocurrency, generally there's like a finite amount of them. There's not enough for everybody to get some, right? So someone's got them, they're gonna sell them to somebody who wants them. The whole supply demand thing, but there's a finite amount of supply. With Pokemon cards, at the drop of a hat, Pokemon company decides they want to reprint them. All of a sudden you get this flood of supply into the market. So I feel like I'm always talking about supply and demand on this channel. It's the most basic concept. We understand it, right? When the demand is there, but the supply isn't, the price is super high. That's what happened last year with 151. But at any point in time, the supply could just get double or quadrupled. You don't know, right? When that happens, the demand will drop and then the price of the whole thing will drop because everybody's able to get some. It's what we're seeing with 151 right now. So the investor channels, I don't think they actually believe what they're talking about because if you just took a step back and looked at it rationally for a couple of minutes, you'd see that it's too difficult to predict this and to give advice to people and then preface it by saying, oh, this isn't financial advice, but here's my financial advice, is pretty dangerous thinking. Now, I don't want to make this a whole, oh, please think of the children thing. We'll get into that a little bit later, but it is really spooky at this period for Pokemon card collecting or investing because the value of Pokemon cards is the lowest it's been in the last 2 or 3 years. So this is the period where everybody's going to start losing their money. Now, the other side of this coin is the business. So a lot of businesses are starting to make YouTube channels. Why pay for advertising or why pay for an influencer to talk about your business when you could just do it yourself? Now, inherently, I don't have anything against these channels. I just think they're really super disingenuous. They try to act like your friend, which is super weird, right? It gets really parasocial. It's already parasocial enough here on YouTube, but when a business is trying to do it, it just rubs me off the wrong way because ultimately a business YouTuber is trying to get people to go to their store. So they're just trying to funnel viewers into customers. And while there's nothing inherently wrong with that, I think it gets really dodgy when you're trying to raise hype or you're trying to make people scared or make people nervous. You're just playing with people's emotions in an effort to get them to go and buy cards. You can preface it as much as you want and say, hey, this isn't financial advice, or hey guys, don't FOMO because things may change. When you do that and then you start talking about it anyway, it defeats the purpose. If you actually believed in that, you just wouldn't say anything. You'd put a couple of Google ads on, put your stuff for sale, and people come and buy it. But you make a lot more money when people are spooked or scared or nervous or making quick, rash decisions. And right now, when Japanese booster boxes are the cheapest they've ever been, or close to as cheap as they've been in the last 3 years, let me tell you right now, we're in the gutter when it comes to the prices of booster boxes. Well, obviously that means business is down. So when a golden goose like Pokemon 151 comes out, naturally businesses are going to start talking about whether it's going to restock or whether the suppliers have cut off the supply. Stuff like this, which I'm seeing all over Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. It's all just really hazy and it really rubs me off the wrong way. Now, if you think this video is about you, it probably is, right? It's nothing personal, kid. I'm just trying to understand your reasoning. I'm really trying to get to the bottom whether you guys believe half the stuff that you're talking about. If you think the video is about you, comment below. This isn't a bait to get engagement. Literally reach out to me if you want to DM me or whatever. I want to get you on a stream. Let's talk about it. Rather than me just talk at you and then you can't return serve, let's get on a stream. I want to understand how these Pokemon card investors think and whether they actually believe what they're talking about. Now you're probably sitting there thinking, JLUV, you're an absolute dog. Why are you gonna punch down on the smaller creators? What about the bigger creators? All right, well, let's have a look at the bigger creators. Pokerev makes a video a couple of weeks ago or a month ago talking about Umbreon V alternate art, and then the price of the card goes up. He didn't pump that card, right? I'm not here to cape Pokerev, and it's not about that. But take a step back and look at it. 100,000 people watch a Pokerev video, and then 1% of the people that watch Pokerev's video, so 1,000 people, decide, hey, Rev likes that card. Or, hey, you know what? That card actually is really cool. And 1,000 people want to go and buy that card, but there's only about 500 Umbreon V alt arts out there for them to buy. Well, naturally, more demand, lower supply, the price of it's going to go up. The dude didn't pump the card, people just got interested again. And that's how this whole thing works. There's no parallels to previous sets or let's try and read the stars. It's like shining light through a prism. It just goes everywhere. It's super random. Or a cat. When you're shining a laser in front of a cat and the cat's gone crazy, it's impossible to predict where the cat's going to go or where the laser's going to go. If I was a big creator like Pokerev, I'd be doing that as much as I possibly could. I'd be talking about all the really cool cards that I've got that are worth a lot of money, and then I'd be pumping them and I'd stock hold a lot of them and then I'd sell them to you. Because why not? It's just free money. Literally, it's all I'm working towards. Why wouldn't I do it? Hey, we good? Yep. We're back. Now, if you know me, you'll know that I was joking. But if you're in the 1% of people that don't know that I was joking and don't know me, you probably click the unsubscribe button. Honestly, I don't blame you. In the same vein, if a Pokemon card investing channel makes a video talking about a card or a set and says that it's a really good investment, 5,000 people watch the video, 1% of the people that watch the video, 50, decide, you know what, he's cooking, I'm gonna do that. They make a big financial decision based on that video, and then it's not a good decision, the card drops in value or the boxes drop in value, all of a sudden you get 50 people that are gonna lose their money. That's what's happening right now. We're in this period where Pokemon cards are just not worth as much as they were a year or two ago. And people that are making big investments or, you know, putting all of it on black are starting to see the reality of what they're doing. They're starting to see the value of all this stuff go down. And when 151 reprinted the Japanese version, it's exactly what happened in the last month. You got people panicking, getting scared, getting nervous. I don't know what to do. People just acting on emotion. I don't want to say FOMO because, again, you guys aren't dumb. Most people aren't really getting baited into the whole fear of missing out thing, but it's the urgency, right? It's the preying on emotions that just really, it rubs me off the wrong way. Especially so when you got people talking about graphs and trends and trying to draw correlation with all this stuff. At the end of the day, there's no trends, there's no correlations. There's only one main constant, and that's that anything viral is going to pop off. The value of Pokemon cards, booster boxes, whatever, is based on how popular it is, whether people are talking about it. And so the more that you talk about a set, the more that you spam it, the more people are seeing it, thinking about it, naturally that set is going to become more popular and worth more. That's why it's always the most popular Pokemon like Umbreon or Charizard or Rayquaza, those cards that are always worth the most because those are the Pokemon that people like the most. It's not about whether it's harder to pull or any of that. It just comes down to popularity, trends, and whether a thing is going viral or not. So I guess in a roundabout way, that brings us back to Pokemon 151. The whole reason I wanted to make this video in the first place. There's a lot of uncertainty, right? And you got businesses and you got investor bros talking about how the reprint wasn't as big as we expected, or the reprint isn't coming anymore, or there was only one wave, or this was old stock that's coming in, or the suppliers in Japan are manipulating the prices and canceling the orders, and that's causing the price to go up or to go down. Hey, all those things very well may be true, but at the same time, they might not be true. It could be the complete opposite. What we do know is that there's a whole lot of booster boxes sitting on the shelves in Pokemon Center all across Japan, physical stores where you can walk in and be like, hey, one booster box for me, please. And you can keep doing that if they don't recognize you or something. I don't know, probably. There's a whole bunch of cases out there as well. You look on Facebook, which is where Pokemon cards get sold out of Japan anyway, primarily. And there's like hundreds and hundreds of cases with different suppliers and sellers to the point where it's like, who's actually going to be wanting to buy this stuff in 5 or 10 years when there's literally so much of it out there? It's hard to believe that you're going to actually make any money. And in the short term, well, short term, you've probably lost a little bit of money. And if you don't think people have lost money on this set, I think you're very sorely mistaken. Look at Ben M. He's a Facebook seller here in Australia. He's one of the most prolific suppliers of Japanese Pokemon cards in the country. Ben M himself posted about how he'd made a loss because of the reprint of 151. Dude was man enough to make a post talk about how he fumbled the bag, but he's taken it in his stride, taking it like an absolute champ. So if someone as big as Ben M, who's probably got a lot of Japanese Pokemon card investments, is taking a loss on this set, you bet your bottom dollar there's probably somebody who listened to an investor on YouTube and made a mistake themselves and lost a lot of money too. Now, I'm not saying I know better when it comes to Japanese Pokemon 151 compared to all these other sources. I only know what I know, which is that we're probably going to see another couple of waves over the next week or month. And we're probably going to see it restock on the Pokemon Center online. If we're seeing it on the shelves of stores in Japan, I feel like it's only a matter of time until you can just buy a box off the site yourself. Now, granted, you're not going to be able to go and buy a whole case off the Pokemon Center online, but do you really need to do that? Is it really that's part of an investment when the whole thing is so random, unpredictable? The Pokemon company can just reprint it whenever they want, and none of any of this stuff really makes a whole lot of sense. I feel like there's got to be way better ways to invest your money that aren't as unpredictable and crazy as Pokemon cards. Anyway, that's enough of my beat up session. If you feel like I've targeted you and you want to talk about this a little bit more, reach out to me. I'll get you on a stream. We'll get a whole bunch on a stream. We can do a big investor bro roundtable discussion. You can call me out. I don't really care. I got a whole bunch of other videos that I'm working on, so I'm going to go back to doing those. But until next time, guys, just be sensible. Just be sensible. That's all. Peace out.